What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Friday night. Warm tonight. Beautiful night, warm. I just checked my thermometer over there on the wall. 70 degrees right now. We got a heat wave coming, and apparently it's going to be 130 degrees. 130 Death Valley. I've been to Death Valley bunch of times. One time, the hottest one was 127 Fahrenheit, but I've never been there at 130. So anyway, but tonight you could feel it. It's a warm night. Lemonade time. Lemonade. If you could see lemonade right there. This one is Me and the Bees lemonade. Classic, established. I'm pretty sure it says 09. I'm pretty sure that means 2009 and not 1909. So gotta try it out. Got a little bit of ice there. Delicious. Love lemonade. Lemonade during the hot summer. So this is top of the line lemonade. Very refreshing and extremely lemony. Wow, that is awesome. I should have bought 3 of them. So tonight is steak night. I have some ribeyes, and I have some New York strips, New York steaks there. So talk a little bit about hammers. Make another video another time, but I collect hammers, sledgehammers, claw hammers, anything a carpenter would use, I collect. So I have my favorite one here. Look at that. Good looking hammer. Full tang, like a knife. Got the steel bottom, the leather rings in between to absorb the what do you call that? The shock wave. Somewhat. Nice nice head, made in Germany. So beautiful hammer. Under here you can tighten it. There's a ring there, hexagon thing. So I love that hammer. It's kind of like the S-Wings. S-Wings, E-S-T-W-I-N-G. So similar, but this one is a step above. But I have a few of those also. Love that. I've used those throughout my life. Those are my second favorite. Close second behind the Picard. And I happen to use the 20 ounce. A little bit heavy, but that's what I use. A lot of people prefer the 16. Doesn't tire you as much, but you know, I like the 20. But yeah, good hammer. I highly recommend Picard. S-Wing, highly recommend those. Craftsman makes great hammers, but this one is my favorite. And we're going to talk a little bit about my favorite tool belt company. I mean, I don't have the tool belt. I have a tool belt, but not by this company. I have a really nice leather one, but this one here is Occidental leather. Look at that. Nice hammer holder. But this is my favorite company for tool belts. Great leather. Can't beat them. And I put the conditioner on here, Cobbler's Choice. Very good. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be 1:30 in Death Valley. Now, I was in there a few times when it was like 112, 113, 114. I was there once at 127. Feels like gym sauna. You know, one of those hot things, like an oven. 130 degrees. So here we have ribeye, bone in. Told the guy to cut them in half because my wife, my bride, doesn't like them too thick. Likes them with one side. So the guy cut them in half, and want to put a little salt and a little bit of pepper. Flip them over. A little bit of salt, Himalayan, Pakistani, and pepper. All right, take a little sip of my lemonade. Oh, man, that's awesome. Today I was thinking about Mr. Whipple. Remember that guy, Mr. Whipple? Mr. Whipple was the guy when I was growing up that made those commercials. Don't squeeze the Charmin. That guy, women would go in there and they'd grab it. Nobody does that in real life. And he would come out of the corner there and he would say, "Hey, don't squeeze the Charmin or I'll knock you out." And then they'd leave it alone. But truth is that Charmin is the best. You know, there's other ones too, like math paper ones. You go to high-end hotels sometimes and they use those cheap toilet paper. I don't know, you spend all that money, you think that they could spend another $1 on a higher quality toilet paper. But you get those, you know, and maybe they do it because the other ones clog easier. I have no idea, but you know, seems to me they're trying to save some money. But Charmin hands down is the best. So those are ribeyes. New York strip here. I see something here. So, one second here. So last night I was out here around midnight, which would be today, because midnight is, midnight's when the day begins. Okay. So we'll start with a little bit of pepper here. A little bit of salt. So I was out here around midnight and I went over there. You can't see over there, but there is an over there. And I was watering. And then I look up above me and I see two big spiders hanging out in their web. These are the spiders. I don't know what their name is. I mean, I could look it up. I'm sure there's an app. If you take a picture of a spider, it'll identify it. I don't have that app. I have the app. If you take a picture of a plant, it'll identify any plant, which is good because one time I was going to cross through an area where there was poison oak. And then I said, let me try my app, see what that is. And I clicked and it said poison oak. So I didn't go that way. But anyway, I was looking at these spiders. They had made these awesome looking webs. And they were just sitting there in the middle, watching me, watching them. So I left them alone. But I know from the past that every night they make a new net, and then in the morning they take it down. So I guess it's not made for two nights in a row. Wears out. But they sit there, and then an insect, like a flying insect, will be flying, minding its own business, and go right into that thing. Then the spider, speed of light, comes out and wraps it up like a mummy. And we have black widows. Those are totally different. Those hang out in the low areas. You know, like if I look around now, there's probably a bunch of them just hanging around waiting for something to get trapped. But yeah, I don't trust those black widows. All right. Yeah, so anyway, the other funny thing, this was one of those kind of creepy things. Wish I had a gallon. I could drink a gallon of this right now. Lemonade. Anyway, the other thing was, across the street, there's trash barrels that are out. And from a distance, like 50 feet away, when you look yesterday, when I looked, it looked like somebody took a dead body and put half of it leaning inside the barrel and the legs hanging on the outside. I was looking at it and I go, that looks like they smoothed somebody out. But then when I went over there and looked, you know, real close, it looks like somebody's gym, you know, sweatpants and sweatshirt, and they put it in there somehow. Maybe it was a homeless person, I don't know. And it just looked like a body bent over, but it wasn't. It just looked that way. Oh, anyway, like these nights after you eat, come out here with a big bowl of grapes, nice firm seedless grapes, cold from the refrigerator, and just sit out here and eat them and look around nice and quiet. I remember when I was a kid, probably like, maybe I was like 5 years old, we were having a get-together late at night, and we lived in an area that was quiet. You could hear the crickets at nighttime. And so they had set up a little barbecue. In the old days, you didn't have the gas grill. You had the charcoal, and you'd put some lighter fluid in there, and you'd light it up, and then you'd throw the steaks on. It was very tasty. Let the barbecue turn white, the coal. So that particular night, my father he had a bike, had a kickstand like a motorcycle. You could sit on it and you couldn't fall off. So that was there. I had a Navy hat on, cap, and I was sitting there, and one by one we had relatives showing up, and they were all like whispering like this, you know, and we were out there in the darkness cooking, no lights on, and it was very muggy, very humid. I remember that like it was yesterday, even though it wasn't. So we sat there, and in the area I lived as a kid, in the summertime, I don't see them here, but we had those fireflies. Like around now, they would show up. They'd start flying around in the backyard, and they'd turn on their light, and then they'd turn it off, and then we'd grab a few of them and put them in a jar, you know, and then we'd let them go. But yeah, I haven't seen fireflies in a very long time. I feel like going back to my old neighborhood, capturing a couple of hundred, and then bringing them here and releasing them and letting them multiply. I don't know if they're dangerous to the environment, you know, but yeah, it was a cool thing at nighttime. And then the other thing, I don't hear them here as much. We have a lot of street noise and all that, but when I was a kid, the crickets at night, I mean, I could hear them, but it's not as intense as it was when I was a kid. As a kid, it sounded like they had a microphone and a speaker, and they were like doing that. And when my father would hear that, he would say, that means it's going to be hot tomorrow. I was thinking, we spent all that money on satellites when they could just go to the crickets and find out what the weather's going to be like. Like the crickets knew it's going to be warm tomorrow. It's going to be warm. Let's make that noise. Yeah, this year at the desert, I went earlier, you know, at the end of spring, early summer, and there were hundreds and hundreds of thousands of grasshoppers just jumping. I was driving my motor car through an area, and you could just see thousands of them just jumping as the car would go through. Had the windows open at first, and then I shut them, and then later on I went, you know, further down, and I noticed that there were a few of them inside hopping around. I had to let them out, get out of the car. But now when you go back, there's none. So I don't know what happened to them, but short lifespan. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna cook the steaks. Wow, yeah, I should have got more. Should have got more lemonade. Anyway, so once again, closing, Occidental. Trust me, this company is the best when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then get the leather conditioner, put it on, let it dry, put another coat on, and another one if you wish. But Occidental, great company, really good leather, very thick. And then Picard Hammer, made in Germany. This one, 20 ounce, very, I mean, you can feel the weight to this. Like I said, most carpenters, they go with the 16, easier on the arm, you know, but I like the 20. So that's it. I'm going to cook now, and maybe I'll be back. You never know. You never know. Ciao.